himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Moter forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah,
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening. evening and welcome back. It's the NASCAR Truck Series Round 3 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Nicholas Hillebrand here this evening to bring you what plans to be some absolutely epic racing. We are in Round 3. It is 134 laps. Stage break. Stage 1 at lap 35, Stage 2 at lap 70. There has been a change in the rules with DQs, as we saw last time out. It caused a little bit of a problem, so they have been extended to 25 incident points before they get a drive through, and then a 50x limit will get them a disqualification. Let's bring you up the schedule. Well, it's Charlotte Motor Speedway this week, and then in 2 weeks time we head off to Thompson Speedway. 2 weeks after that is Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Then we're looking forward to the 9th of July. It will be Bristol Dirt. That's going to be an interesting one. Then we go off to Indianapolis, then the USA International Speedway, Michigan International after that, then Martinsville, which I am so looking forward to. Watkins Glen, Talladega and Phoenix will be the final one. The scores currently at this moment in time. Well, Dan Michel is out in front with 1 win on 104 points with 32 stage points. Then you got David Van der Waals in second place with Tim Perry in third, Noel Jakowitz in fourth and Levi Walls in fifth. Danny Kazar takes sixth with Jamie McIntosh in seventh. Then Con Campbell is in eighth. Steve Orrell in ninth. Carl Jackley 11th. Paul LeMay in 11th. Then Patrick Seaburn, Paul Clark, Ewan Stitchbury, Frederick Towler, Stuart Pearson, Michael LeMay, Dan Sedgley, Matty Hoyland, Terry Murphy and John Bailiff rounds out the final standings. Let's bring Nicholas into the booth as we have just entered into the quali. Nicholas, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Quite looking forward to another fantastic race here at, well, also one of the oldest raceways or speedways in America, open since 1960, and obviously such an action-packed location.
Yeah, it is. You're going to be looking at 1.5 miles or 7,920 feet, if you want to be precise. You've got banking in the straightaways will be 5 degrees. Banking in the corners will be 24 degrees. Now, one of the things we are going to make you aware of here this evening as well, it's going to be a very tight tri-oval part of the circuit. This part here is very, very tricky. I tried to do it myself in the Coke 600. If anybody watched the broadcast, you'll know it did not go very well for me. So they are going to have to be careful. It does feel like full flats in the trucks. It's not just full flat. There is a little bit of a lift just as you start entering into corner entry, okay? So they are going to have to be a little bit mindful of just a little bit of a lift going into corner entry to make sure that they can pull them down on the inside. It's going to be very, very interesting here, Nicholas. I think this is going to be very much a game of strategy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as you said, it's almost flat out around here, and I actually am quite fond of this track as well. I won my first ever oval race in sim racing back, I don't know how many years ago now, but a long, long time ago in IndyCar at this track. And, you know, it's always action-packed, especially in trucks instead of IndyCar. You have the pack racing, of course, as well, which means that there's even less time to react. And since it's such a short track as well, the laps are comparatively shorter as well, and it just makes everything a lot more hectic, a lot more stressful, and a lot more dependent on the driver's concentration.
Yeah, it's not a simple circuit. It really isn't. If you think you're just sitting here turning left, it's very, very difficult. In conjunction with tyre wear, they wear quite quickly as well. I got about 40 laps, give or take. Mind you, I was in the Cup car, obviously a different beast and entity to the truck. So, you know, it was a complete different form of what I was doing in the Cup. It was quite an interesting Cup race, and I think going forward, these guys have got to make sure they're sensible. It's all right being at the front and, you know, trying to go 3 wide, but it isn't always going to work out, as we saw last time out.
Yeah, that was at Daytona. We've got a lot more space to work with down in Florida. here in North Carolina, it's going to be a lot more difficult to go 3 wide, especially as we saw in the dogleg. That's a lot more tight, of course. You know, it's 2 different apexes instead of this one long, drawn-out apex that we have at Daytona. And yeah, obviously people want to still take the racing line, you know, outside, inside, outside as much as possible. So there's going to be some lane switching, and I don't think that works out very well in 3 wide.
No, it definitely doesn't. We are a bit light on the field. We've got 12 cars on the grid at the moment. It is the summertime, and obviously people are away and barbecues if you have got nice weather. Not that I've had nice weather today. I can safely say that one. It has not been nice in the UK. It's been showers on and off. So if you are having a barbecue, I hope you're under a gazebo, because otherwise you might get a little bit wet. But that being said, I'm sure these guys will put on a great show and we will see some interesting racing. Who's your money on, Nicholas? Who, if I gave you a choice out the whole grid, who would you pick?
It's a very, very difficult call, honestly. Of course, a couple of the runners from the top I can't see in the standings right now. So neither Dan Michel, neither David van der Waals. So honestly, at the moment, Danny Kassa has shown some quite good consistency. 19 stage points so far in the standings and 75 overall points. So 6th in the standings right now. So obviously he's going to want to profit from maybe an absence or, you know, lack of qualifying from other drivers in the championship.
Yeah, we have got the grid for you. Steve Orrell is out in front with Paul LeMay in second, Tim Perry in third. Marcus Ludovico, I don't know, I'm sure he'll tell me after, Marcus, I do apologise. Danny Kazar in 5th, Con Campbell 6th, Stuart Pearson 7th, Carl Jackley 8th, Pat Seaborn 9th, Jamie McIntosh in 10th, with Levi Walls and Michael LeMay the last on the grid. I'm sure it doesn't really, is the thing for me is with this kind of scenario, it doesn't seem to matter where you are on the grid. You've always got the opportunity of taking the win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we saw so many lead changes, so many changes overall in the last race, with people going laps down, then just in the next stage, in the next caution, basically just being able to get it all back with the lucky dog, of course. And with pit stops as well, it was absolutely insane, honestly. I couldn't believe how often a couple of guys made their comebacks again. And yeah.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really matter as such of where you are on the grid. I reckon at the end of the day, as long as you are on the grid, that should all that matter. And as the saying goes, to score points, you've got to finish. And to finish, well, you know, you've got to be on the track. So let's see how we get on. Steve Orrell is going to lead us away and get this up and running. We'll find out how these guys are going to get on and whether or not we're going to have an out-and-out winner. Is Orrell going to lead from beginning to end? Is he not going to lead from beginning to end? What do you think at home? Let us know if you are sitting here watching and who you're cheering on, and if you think it's going to be your favourite driver. It is, at the end of the day, the home of the 600. It was run this weekend in NASCAR. I'm still getting through the broadcast. It was nearly 5 hours long, mind you. So please, I don't know spoilers because I have not seen who has won, but here we go now. It's going to be off and running onto the start. There's the trucks all ready to go, and we are green here as we get this up and running and underway. Steve Orrell's out in front, Tim Perry in second, Danny Kazar, Paul LeMay running side by side. Marcus is in there as well in that 33 machine. Con Campbell, Stu Pearson side by side in the back. Carl Jacklett trying to make his way through. Pat Seaborn, Levi Walls, Michael LeMay, all involved so far. No real massive gaps. Tim Perry's looking at coming up the inside early on as we're on lap 1 of 134. Danny Kazar sitting in second here at the moment. Everybody's got away fairly cleanly here, Nicholas. No real dramas so far.
Yeah, everyone has been quite orderly. Very, very nice and clean. But you can already see a couple of guys are trying to run the high line, and for Steve Orrell here, it just really, really didn't work out. Perry's just running away with it right now.
Yeah, I am surprised that they've started trying to run the highlights so early on. It normally would be that you'd run it a little bit later on in the race once it starts coming in, and I think that I am quite surprised that they have run it this early on, but we'll see how they get on. Tim Perry's opened it up at basically about 3/10 of a gap at the moment. It's only 2 seconds all the way through the field. They have got to make sure that they keep hold of the draft. Mr. Stitch on YouTube, my money's on Perry, was very strong here in the Cup cars. Absolutely. Con Campbell going to the front. Go, 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 says the Brent Thompson Racing guys there. Con making his way, sitting in 6th place at the moment. Had a bit of a rough one last time out. We did get the opportunity to talk to Con halfway through, and it was a little bit rough, Nick, for Con Campbell.
Absolutely. He was involved in a couple of accidents, and it was really frustrating for him because in none of these, I think he was actually the perpetrator that caused them. He just always got halfway through the big one, and then just in the last moments, always massive damage to him. Actually mentioned very early on how he had used one of his fast repairs already, and then that he had saved up the last one for the final stage, and obviously a lot of strategy comes into this, and especially using the fast repairs, changing your tires, since that's all limited, of course.
Absolutely. There it is, and Marcus there as well. Lubrification. I'm still going to give up and try and not get to call his name, because a poor young man's going to think, what am I doing? But Jamie McIntosh here following the photo media of Carl Jacklett as we're on to lap 7 of a 134 lap 6, sorry, of 134 laps. Stu Pearson has dropped to the back of the field in that 55 SAS racing machine with Michael LeMay in front. Pat Seaborn in front of that with Jamie McIntosh there as well. But it's Tim Perry, Steve Orrell, Danny Kazar and Paul LeMay are rounding this one. It's going to be very, very interesting here, Nick, as well. Did you get a chance to run the Coke 600 this week?
No, unfortunately not. I was quite busy watching IndyCar and, of course, Formula 1 as well, though. F1 didn't really have any action whatsoever, as it's usually with Monaco nowadays. But luckily we're treated to a way better race here nowadays.
Yeah, I did sit and watch the trucks on Friday and started watching the Cup cars this morning while I was sat just prepping, working and getting some bits together. It was very, very interested by what I saw. Haven't quite made it all the way through, so as I say, please no spoilers as of yet. I haven't managed to watch it all, with Danny Kazar starting to make his way through. Michael LeMay in there. Stu Pearson has got to hang on to Michael LeMay. He doesn't want to lose that draft, Nick, because that draft is going to play a huge part in how this race turns out.
Absolutely, and this is one of the big challenges, I think, of Charlotte as well, because you can see this lap is so short, it's constantly so fast. As we said before, at the entrance maybe, especially in the earlier stages when we don't have as much rubber put down yet, you may have to lift a little bit into the entrances of the corners. And if you just slide a little bit wide, if you get into the marbles or in the beginning marbles here, or just slightly miss your turning point and just lose a bit of momentum like Stuart Pearson maybe has done earlier, you can very quickly go right to the back of the train, and if you're very, very unlucky, of course, completely lose the draft, and that would completely destroy your race.
Yeah, because you will end up then dropping all the way back here, unfortunately. But Stuart Pearson is just about hanging on. He's got to follow Michael LeMay, and he's got to be there on his tailpipe. You can see he's just not... You've got to, the way this was run the other day in the Cup cars, and I found it a lot easier, was literally allowing the car to enter the corner and then obviously lifting off on the just over. There's a little nasty bump just about there that you just lift, get car over the bump, and then you put your foot down. You know, you use your brake to drag the car round as best as you physically can, because that's the only way. As it starts getting on in the laps, you are going to struggle with tires, and they are going to have to make sure that they try and utilize that. Now, I suck at tyre saving, Nicholas. I am literally the worst. I will go out and thrash the living granny out of my tyres and then think, oh no, and then I've got to go and make changes. So, you know, these guys might be a little bit better prepared than I am. As I say, I'm not that great on tyre saving, but that will also play a part as well. If you do manage to tyre save, you'll be in a good position as you get towards the end of stage.
Oh yeah, 100%. On this note, I just really want to emphasize again, you know, it's always this constant, how do you say it, like this bias that people have before they really get into over racing. Oh, it's just turning left, you know, okay, of course it's banked, so you can just take it flat out. But just through experience alone, how many different lines you have to take, or like how you can take from car to car, from a NASCAR truck to a NASCAR like full sprint cup car, or you know, maybe the nationwide car, or even like Indy cars. It's completely different lines, completely different setup approaches, and you know, completely different challenges in racing. And I just absolutely adore that. And Charlotte is one of these tracks that is just absolutely a perfect example for this.
Yeah, it is. You are right. And to be honest, I was having great fun in the Coke 600 this week. Unfortunately, I got 4x before I went actually over the line at the beginning, and then I got another 4x because somebody decided to hit me on the pace lap. That was interesting, I've got to be honest. And then the same person decided to run me up into the wall, so gave me 15 minutes repairs and about 25 laps down, unfortunately. So not my greatest Coke 600, I've got to be honest. But onwards and upwards we go, as these cars are still under no cautions. Lap 15, we got 25 on the clock. We have just gone past Steve Orles. We're on the front of Danny Kazar. There is Orles' yellow machine on the outside, on that number 68 car, doing a great job here once more. He's just about hanging on from Danny Kazar. Danny Kazar really putting Steve Orles under pressure.
Yeah, 100%. But these guys, of course, are directly fighting in the championship, of course, as well. I mean, while Mr. Perry is just making a bit of a run for it, of course, he is the driver with the highest point standings without a win. So I think right now he's obviously going to try and make his way towards, well, the final standings, because the three drivers with the most wins in the regular season, of course, advance to the final, and the two drivers with the most points, and then one driver with the most stage points. So right now we can see a very, very fun little dynamic, of course, with Mr. Perry here running at the front, obviously trying to get away as quickly as possible, stacking up on some more stage points as well. While the others are all fighting just for overall points, I'd say, and of course for the stage points as well, simply so you can have the best optimal chance of getting extra points to make it towards the final.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's one of the things that makes this season so interesting. There's opportunities to get into the playoffs all the way through, so we will have to see how they get on and utilize this situation. Carl Jacquelet's in there in that photo media machine. He's got Levi Walls. We are losing Michael LeMay a little bit, who's running up very, very high, going in very, very low. Use your brake, dear sir. It will be your friend, I can tell you that much. You will need to use your brake to get that car rotated, otherwise next time you are going to be ending up in the wall. It will make it easier for you there. Brent Thompson keeps saving those tyres. Con David Van der Waals not racing, no. Ewan Stitchbury has twisted his ankle, apparently. Bless his little cotton socks, and can't get into his rig. So, yeah. That's why we've got no Mr. Stitchbury. He's hurt himself. He's given himself a little bit of a boo-boo. But I can tell you one thing. Con is trying to go up the inside of Paul May. Yeah!
That was a close one.
That could have been a little bit more dangerous. And now we've got on the outside. That's Levi Walls trying to run that outside line round Con Campbell. And Paul LeMay, Steve Orr, Marcus is in there as well. Marcus finds himself in third place, making his way forward. So, yeah, that was definitely interesting. There was a lot of nose cutting off on that one.
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's also a little bit in mid-corner, you know, he's coming with a little bit more momentum in there, and then he realizes, oh, I think my front tires are slightly giving out right now, and obviously not wanting to wreck his fellow driver, pulled out of there. So, you know, very nice to see as well, you know, this instinct of self-preservation.
I think that's the thing. That's what you need generally is that self-preservation instinct, because otherwise, you know, I've seen it, I've witnessed it at places like Dago where people just cannot read what's going on. It's full flat, I must keep my foot on the accelerator, go, 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 and they end up crashing into somebody because that guy drifts up a little bit wide. He's gonna obviously come back down again, and they end up just trying to stick their nose up the inside and turn it. And you know, for me, that doesn't make sense. I'd rather finish the race, and especially when you're trying to do that on lap 40 of 120, it's just, for me, it drives me physically insane. And if anybody watched the broadcast from me doing the Coke 600, you would know how insane it actually drove me when the guy just terminated me into the wall. But there we go, onwards and upwards we go. Nick, I was fuming. I was proper aggravated, because the worst thing is,
I can imagine.
I called out as well. I said earlier on when he hit me, it was the same guy that hit me on the pace lap, and I called out that he will be the one that will stick me in the wall. I got all the way to second, had pace for days, and literally got stuck behind him after my pit stop because I went in and changed tyres and he didn't. And I ended up getting stuck behind him, and then he just rammed me up in the tri-oval and just went straight up the track at me. But I was just proper aggravated, Nick, I can tell you that much. So there we go.
You're speaking to a man that also likes to let out his anger inside of the car. That was basically the first thing that I was taught when I was racing slalom cars and you know, touring cars in real life before COVID. You know, you can be as angry as you want, you can scream, you can yell, you can curse, everything, but do it inside the car. When you get out of the car, you have to be cool as a cucumber. Now the problem is, when you're streaming sim racing, you're basically still cursing inside the car,
yes.
But everyone gets to witness it, just like with team radio nowadays.
Yes, I agree with you. That is the one thing, as Con just makes that move past Steve Orr, goes up the inside. Orr's covering a lot more speed around the outside of one, coming out of two. But you are right. I think that's the thing. When you curse in the car and you are, oh, Daddy Kazar.
Whoa.
There's a wall there, buddy. You want to get that car slowed down under braking. We've just got free wide. Paul LeMay's just come up on the inside of us and sent it past both of us as Paul LeMay. And wow.
What a move. Out of nowhere.
Yeah, in that 27 machine, just comes hurtling up the inside as we're coming into the last 8 of stage on lap 35. So let's see how we get on here and who's going to come out. Obviously the top 10 will score points at the moment. Pat Seaborn is the last person in the top 10 to score points. I can tell you one thing, 2 people are going to be happy when they get to stage here will be Stuart Pearson and Michael LeMay, because they've dropped right off early on.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, they're not going to be looking at stage points right now, but it obviously gives them a chance to catch back up. And, you know, making one of these driving mistakes, like it's just what I said earlier. You lose that momentum once, you have that slight touch, as we also saw with Kassar. Just one slight touch in the wall, and you're opening up for yourself to get past instantly. And, well, maybe not just by 1, but by 2 cars, as Paul LeMay showed, with that absolute drive down the inside, making it 3 wide for a very brief moment.
Yeah, I agree. It's very tough. We've got, just in the bottom left-hand corner, you just saw the reflection of Steve Orr's truck there just come into the picture. So that's going to be interesting to see if Steve Orr is going to come through. Boring race for Perry. It is at the moment. He's 4 seconds out in front here, Stitch. But, you know, there's still time. You and I both know anything can happen in truck racing. And especially this week, because the trucks this week, well, I haven't ventured into the trucks yet, I can safely say, partly because I'm not really sure I want to, but we'll see as well how they get on. But I can tell you the Xfinity's at Nashville Fairgrounds, Stitch. Setups, Stitch, setups. there you go. My boy Ewan Stitch Me sorts me out every single week, and I'm sure he will again, won't you, Ewan? My lovely gentleman. It's like the James Parfitt setup shop. So there you go, 31 of 35, 4 laps to go at stage. You can see Danny Kazar, Steve Orrell, all scrapping it out here. Jamie McIntosh behind. Once again, still continually fighting it out. The 21, the 23, the 68. Carl Jacklett's in there, the 3. These 3 are going to be battling out for the final 6, 7 and 8 places. Paul LeMay, Con Campbell, Levi Walls and Marcus. I'm just going with Marcus at the moment, Nick, because I have no idea how to pronounce his surname.
I think it's Ludovico, but absolutely fantastic run from him as well. He was down in 6th or 7th earlier, and then around 5-6 laps ago he just made a sudden complete charge down the inside of everyone, positioned his car perfectly, and it's just started running away from Levi Waltz there. And really, really good run for him for the first stage, of course.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's done an absolutely stellar job. He is up 2 places. Levi Walls is up 8 here, but we've got the teammates fighting it out. There is Levi, there's Paul LeMay, there's Con Campbell in the middle, there's your leader, Mr. Tim Perry from Altitude Esports out in front, absolutely flying. He is on the final lap before stage. He is at the end, okay, the end of the lap. And as it has been for the last 2 rounds. Cough, cough. Yes, Mr. Stitchbury. Cough, cough. Come on. Lots of shifting in the trucks this week. Well, I'm going to venture into them. And maybe if I can get a race in a little bit later before my next broadcast, I'll find out what's been going on. But, yeah, I think the trucks this week could be quite horrendous. I've got to be honest.
I do have to say, it's been a while since I tried iRacing, but I actually quite enjoyed the trucks. Like, I only had the standard ones, but those were still very, very good fun racing. And speaking of, Charlotte and trucks and all that stuff, and a fun little tidbit by the side, a Formula 1 driver a couple of years ago actually did a guest start here at Charlotte in the trucks. Do you remember who that was?
Jenson Button.
Not quite. Jensen went to, if I remember correctly, Moter.
Yeah, he did Moter.
But the driver also accompanied Jensen there, Kimi Räikkönen.
Oh, there you go. That is the end of stage. Tim Perry is your stage winner with Marcus Ludovico. There you go, got it right. Levi Walls in 3rd, Con Campbell 4th, then Paul LeMay, Steve Orrell, Jamie McIntosh, Danny Kazar, Carl Jacklett, and Pat Seaborn. No points for Stuart Pearson or Michael LeMay. So, yeah, stage winner, Mr. Tim Perry. Tim's looking very strong today. Makes you wonder who's going to get near him.
Oh, for sure. And though I think it's also a little bit owed to the fact that Tim could basically just run away from the others while they started battling. And of course, when you're too wide here, you have to look out for the outside and inside. Alternatively, depending on which lane you're in, you have to, of course, try and survive a bit. So take a bit of speed out and all that. So I think he could really profit that, we had this entire charge of Mr. Ludovico here up to P2. So with the pace that he put on in the late stage of stage 1 of the race, there we are. That's the proper phrasing. I think he's going to be able to put quite a good fight to Tim Perry.
Yeah, they're all going to dive into the pits there as well. Mr. Stitch says Kobayashi. No, it wasn't Kobayashi, apparently. It was Räikkönen. So there you go. But Campbell, go Con, keep it up. Okay, so what relation are you? I don't know if you've told us already here. Ren Thompson Racing. Great job, Con. So that's one we're going to keep an eye on as well. I did look this week, actually. I got to be honest, actually joining a truck league. Now, if anybody's know of any truck leagues, right, and I'll give you me days that I can make it, because generally I am pretty manic throughout the week, right? So Wednesday nights, if anybody knows of any truck leagues on a Wednesday, okay, or Monday nights US time, All right, so Monday or a Wednesday US time, and the only 2 days that I can really do it, because other than that, I'm pretty manic. So if anybody does know of a truck league that's looking for an Englishman, maybe not on purpose, but you know, if they fancy an Englishman coming in, get them to hit me up on Discord. Kobayashi, Button, and Raikkonen all did the Kota race. Yeah, and do you know the interesting thing as well was Button was on there talking about the track limits as well at Kota that just does not seem to matter. At Kota, there was just no track limits, Nick. It was just go wherever you want to.
Oh, we had the same thing before, I think, at IMSA when they went there as well. So basically, they were just completely running off at the exit of a couple of the corners and just going like, "Oh yeah, it's close enough to the track."
Yeah, there was turn. It was one of the hairpin. The only part it made me laugh because they only set the only parts of the off track was through the S's, which is obviously modelled on Maggotts and Beckett's at Silverstone. So that was the only off tracks that they had. The rest of the circuit is free game, and of course down into turn 11. Nope. Yeah, 11, I think it was, before they went into 12. There was a load of tarmac in the inside before the curb. And, of course, they just ran the tarmac, you know, and that was it. There was literally no off-tracks going into that area. It was literally insane. So, yeah, fair play to them. Con and I belong to the Desert iRacing League, and we race trucks on Saturdays. I got to get up at 5 a.m. in the following morning, you see, Brent, to take my son on his paper round. That's why I said them Monday or Wednesdays. I did find one the other day, but then it was something like $50 to enter or something, which was quite a lot of money to enter into a race for the season. So yeah, there we go. If anybody does know, hit me up and let me know. But stage is finished. They've all been in to the pits. Tim Perry, Ludovico Campbell managed to get the jump there. He's now in third. He got the jump over Oral and Danny Kazar. They will be coming into our screens very, very shortly. Now we've got that run to lap 70. 31 laps of racing to go. Ludovico makes his setters into that second place. He thought about it, but he's gonna be Tim Perry. Tim's already got the jump out already, Nick. Done a stellar job as Tim Perry, absolutely flying.
That was an insane start, honestly. I obviously expected that Ludovico would do a bit more of a fight there, but Christ, Perry just gunned it and absolutely perfect reaction times. It's almost like that launch Valtteri Bottas got in the Red Bull Ring a couple of years ago, where he was literally faster than the starting lights, but it didn't get counted as a jump start because he was still within the, I think, tolerance perimeter of the grid slot. So, absolutely insane.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely flew there. Ludovico did not have a response. Neither did Con Campbell, Danny Kazar, Steve Orrell, Seaborn, or anybody there. McIntosh ended up down the back of the field. Great start. Yeah, Brent, that is about 3 a.m. for me, because you're 5 hours in the US at the moment. So 10 p.m. is like 3 a.m. Don't even know if I'd be awake at that point. Saying that, I'm going to be awake at that point later on when I do the BSC. So, you know, I can't really answer that one. But Tim Perry opening up a gap at the moment, half a second. And then these guys have opened up 1.7 already.
Yeah, it's just absolutely insane. Tim is just completely one with the car and the track. It's just like one big goo of Perry here, and he's just using his entire, perfect feeling of the track there to just move forward. But as I said, Ludovico's still sticking with him very, very well. Obviously dropping back a little bit. I think he's slowly losing the toe. So I am wondering, you know, if Marcus can maybe get a bit of a run going over time.
Yeah, the other guys are closely in a pack here at the back. Michael LeMay, McIntosh, Jacqueline is there. Stuart Pearson's just gone round the outside. I think this season for Stu Pearson's quite an interesting one, because a lot of these guys, obviously, you know, generally we're a European-based league, right? And, you know, we do NASCAR, which in Europe is not heard of at all, unless you'd watch the European NASCAR, but I didn't really like that one at circuits such as Brands Hatch and stuff like that. It was you know, nah. You know, and we don't have no ovals in the UK. So these guys...
They got to take it to Lauderdale. We still have the oval there.
Oh, well, they've just got to go somewhere. You know, we did have Rockingham in the UK, but that kind of fell apart and died a death as well, unfortunately, for that circuit. So it's well overgrown and would need some serious work to get that remotely back up into a racing standards, I think, Nick. You know, that's the thing. But it is, you know... For us taking that plunge into that European NASCAR, and that's basically just thanking Paul Clark is from iLoungeRacing.co.uk. You can go and check them out and go and see what they've got on offer. Sim rigs are over there as well. If you go to HiFiLounge.co.uk, you will see some absolutely amazing hi-fis, and I will say they are absolutely incredible. So it was a brainchild between myself and Paul Clark that we come up with this whole scenario of doing trucks, and last season we did cup cars, and Mr. Stitchbury, our defending champion, was in that one as well. So for a European truck league in general is something that's not the norm, you know what I mean, in the European scene of iRacing.
Yeah, and honestly it's a bit of a shame, since these cars, you know, lower downforce but still quite good top speed, and on ovals with the pack racing possibility, it's just such good fun. You know, you always feel the car moving around under you. It's always trying to get away from you a little bit, especially in longer runs. And, well, you just really feel the car fighting against you and against the track. We now have the number 3 going down the inside of the 55. Oh, just barely got the nose in there at the second part of the dogleg, and really, really nice going here.
Yeah, I'm surprised these 5 behind, starting off with Danny Kazar there, Pearson, Jacklett, McIntosh and LeMay. I'm surprised they just haven't settled into a line. I think that would be the easiest way of controlling that scenario, would be to settle in on that line and just basically try and stay together if you can, because obviously they need to start moving forward. They are starting to lose the draft a little bit here that could end up costing them. Pearson's trying to make the jump away from Danny Kazar at the moment. Kazar's still in there with Jacklett. We've got Steve Orrell, got Pat Seaborn, Levi Walls and Paul LeMay in and around him. Con Campbell has got that gap down to the guys in front. It was teetering on a 1.8. It's now down to 1.1. So Con doing a great job here trying to close that gap down.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic job right now. The gods of luck are certainly looking more in his favor right now. And, you know, I think they might have just felt bad for the truly awful luck that he got at Daytona. But, you know, it always balances itself out at some point through the season. So it's really good to see him running a very good race here. Obviously also catching up to the top 2. Ludovico and Perry actually closing up together again as well. So really, really interesting here right now.
Yeah, to get down to a second now. He's pulled out a 10th, has gone over Ludovico, who himself is closing in on Tim Perry. Lap number 51 here out of 134. And to be fair, we've had no cautions as of yet. Touch wood, apart from stage. I will accept the stage 1 as an unforced caution. But Ludovico closing in on Perry. Campbell closing in as well. To be honest, the weirdest thing is, if you look at this, the rest of them are closing in behind them, aren't they? You know, you can see everybody else starting to come together because the gaps have come down to below that second mark here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Tim Perry just tried to get a big enough gap to maybe gamble on, you know, well, getting a big enough gap for the second stage at the beginning, and then basically just trying to slowly let himself get reeled in before they can have a chance of overtaking him. But evidently it didn't quite work out as much, and maybe his tires are starting to just suffer a little bit. As you said, tire wear is quite a big factor here.
Yeah, it is massive. I could get to lap 40 in the cup car, and after that it was hairy if you tried to extend it any more than that, to be blatantly honest with you, Nick. These guys have got to 35, they've got to 70. I will be interested to see, though, between 70 and 134, whether or not we're going to have some green flag stops, Nick, because they're not going to be, I don't think the tyres are going to hold out for what would be practically 74 laps.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, they definitely have to do at least one stop, as far as we could see, for the fuel stop. And I think with Tim Perry basically running the entire first stage in the front by himself, the cars can definitely just make it on full push for over 35 laps. But of course, this is the question now. From 70 to 134, that's... after the stage ends, that's another 60 laps. So it's one stop for fuel. And most definitely they will have to take tires for that. Yeah. The question is now, though, who actually used their first tire swap here, maybe, already at stage 1?
Well, that's going to be the question, isn't it? 68 and 78 need to get in line. I know. We do tell them this, and these four together could be really dangerous if they did just stay where they are. If Oral just stayed behind Seaborn, give him a bit of a push, pull LeMay in. However, Seaborn went in a lot quicker. Oral went in a lot quicker than Seaborn that time around and nearly missed the whole thing there. They do have to group up. Con's gap is out to 1.3. Ludovico is just about hanging on to Tim Perry, but you are right. They do need to line up in that line. They have dropped Michael LeMay off again, who's into the pits once more. Michael LeMay burning up through tyres. He unfortunately looked like he may have had a crash here, the man in that 7.7 machine. What did he do? Oh, that looks like some form of error. And that could be...
Something must have gone wrong there.
Yeah, that's hardware by some form of the imagination. He is into the pits, so whatever he's trying to do, he's trying to adjust there. But these guys, McIntosh and Jacklett, you are right, just sit into a line. Kazara is in front of them. LeMay and Seaborn need to really sit in a line with Oral to start making their way forward to Levi Walls, who's trying to close down Con Campbell, who's trying to make his way into the back of Ludovico. But unfortunately for Con, he started losing that time a little bit more than he was before here, so we're going to have to see what goes on once again. Eventually he's fast without it now, but falling off, so yeah, they are falling off slowly. You are right, the gap started to come down, Mikkel, and that was the thing where we said the whole field was starting to get almost grouped back up again. But now all of a sudden what's happened is we're over stage at 35, we got going again on 36 or 37, I think it may have been. Now we're 59 in, we're on 21 already, and the tyres are starting to get a little bit on the warm side. They've got to make sure they're trying to cool sometimes, if it means lifting a little bit earlier, applying that brake just to pull the front end round to try and cool these tyres down here. I think, Nick, because at the moment there's a couple of people that could be struggling with tyres already.
Yeah, 100%, and as you said, it's not just the tires that get warmer. Of course, over the time of the race, the heat in the track actually develops as well, which, of course, is also a little bit semi-optimal for the tire temperatures, though they do grip up a little bit more up to a certain degree. And as you said, they'll have to look into lifting a little bit, depending on, if they want to maybe save the tires a little bit longer. And my question here is, where can you really lift while not completely losing touch with the rest of the grid in front of you?
Just on corner entry, there is a nasty little bump on corner entry, and it's just about there. So you lift, let the car rotate over the bump, and then you can start applying the throttle. Now you bring it in gently. You don't slam the throttle, because otherwise you're just going to spin the tires up. So you're bringing it in throughout the entry all the way off the corner. Again, here there's a nasty little bump, just takes you down onto that lower line. So you're just feathering the throttle, and now as you go around that second half, 50% maybe of the corner, you'll start applying full throttle to get the run out. The only problem is you're coming in from high to low, going out high. So you've got to make sure as you're coming out, you're staying away from this side of the wall, because if you hit that, you're going to come down. So again, you've got to make sure that you're in that kind of area and lifting just enough and applying probably midway, 35-40% a corner before you start applying the throttle in there. As you can see in front with Kazar and Oral, Kazar ran up almost into Oral there.
Yeah, he's trying to get on the inside very aggressively, maybe get the move done before his car actually slides up. But you can see he's just trying to take a little bit too much momentum. There's a little bit loose as he just barely grazes the edge of the apron. But yeah, Danny Kazar really trying to get everything out of his tires and his truck there for the grip. And again,
Danny,
that's getting close.
LeMay's in the wall. Paul LeMay just thumped the wall. That's going to bring McIntosh into it as well. You saw Kazar just starting to get a little bit drifty there. Michael Jones, I saw that coming, he said. Haha, pronounced like Michael, not Mikhail. Well, you know, it says that on YouTube there as well. Great broadcasting presentation, by the way. Big up, boys. Cheers for that as well. Much appreciated from you and Brent there on that one. But you can see it's getting very, very slidey. You know, they're starting to come a little bit more like Bambi on ice than they are truck drivers. You know, Kazar is trying to throw it in under the underside of Steve Orrell, and it's very, very difficult. You can see just how difficult it is here for Danny Kazar. He's trying to get past that yellow machine in the 68, and I think the inside is just not working for Danny Kazar at the moment. He's trying to use the draft to Seaborn in front to pull his way forward here, Nick.
Yeah, and I think now he finally made it past, but you could see on the turn-in for turn 3 actually, and on the transition to turn 4, how much he had to turn the wheel in there. How much the car was struggling and resisting, and actually now making it down the inside of Seaborn right in front of him and goes past. So I am really just wondering, like, what kind of, maybe he's running different tires, you know, maybe he's running a super long lasting compound or something, because normally these tires would be completely overheated, but maybe he just really saved them very well earlier to set these couple of laps up for pushing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think they've got to be into that stages now. You are right, Brent. You are right. Con is starting to make his way into Ludovico. Ludovico is still not massively far off Tim Perry. I think this is the thing. It can still happen over the next 2 laps, but we are going to find out what's going to happen here as we go into this stage 2 area. One more lap to go. Who out of these guys behind are going to grab some of these points, because these are not letting off each other here. They are constantly backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and you've got Seaborn, LeMay, McIntosh, Orrell and Kazar all in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th spot, with Stu Pearson just on the back end and Carl Jacqueline just hanging on there as we've got one more lap to go to stage.
Yeah, basically the final lap here, the battle for the final stage point between Jacqueline and Pearson. And Jacqueline just a little bit out of the range, but he's going to have to count on pretty much Pearson making any sort of mistake, maybe.
Yeah, Con is now, look, he's got Levi Walls behind him. Walls has pulled him into half a second. He must have just made a mistake, because that gap's gone back out to 1.75 here. Now Tim Perry, final lap of stage. It's going to be a stage 2 win as well for Perry. It's a full house for him at the moment. 20 points on the board unless anything drastic happens. Tim Perry is going to come over the line. He will be your stage 2 winner for that 83 Altitude Esports machine. He takes stage 2 for him. Did Levi Walls get Con Campbell? He didn't. What is going on further back? It's going to be a race to the line. McIntosh is on the outside, I think. Oh, it was Mr. McIntosh over Paul LeMay with Seaborn behind, and Pearson grabs the final points there as well. Let's go 33, says Chelsea there. That's Marcus Ludovico. We hope it's that.
Indeed. But yeah, I think Ludovico maybe spent a bit too much of his tires trying to push towards Tim Perry there at the start, after, you know, basically dropping the ball a little bit on the start of stage 2. But, you know, I think having made the mistake once, I think he's not going to try and do it again. He's going to be a bit more aware for the next start. And of course, now the question comes, what's going to be the tire strategies for the remaining drivers here?
Well, I'll tell you what we are going to do is, I'll tell you what we will do. Let's see if we can have a chat with a number 52, Mr. Con Campbell. Con, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Ah, mate, you got fans for days in YouTube chat. They're all cheering you on here. I can tell you that much. Brent Thompson Racing is in there as well, cheering you on, Con. How is it out there?
Pretty good, man. Things are going good right now. I had such a bad race last time out that the goal for today was to save tires and gain points, and first couple stages have went pretty good for me.
Yeah, they have so far. Third in that one as well. Nice little hump of points going in to the final run. What do we think? We've been green flag right up to the stages here. Are we going to need tyres and fuel before we get to the end of this race?
I think so. I think obviously Tim is in a different zip code. We're all probably racing for second. But yeah, I think a little pit strategy might come into play in this last stage. I do think we'll need tires in the last stage.
Well, Con, good luck. It's going to be very, very exciting to see how you all come out after this last part here as well. You've got the straight run now to the end of the race. Good race, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Well, there you go. There is Con Campbell there as well. Got nice little points in stage 2, stage 1. Doing well so far. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on now. He expects we're going to have pit stops.
Yeah, I think it really depends on, you know, how well you can execute the pit stops. If you can gamble on the caution happening. And the thing is, right now, I think we're definitely going to have green flag pit stops because so far everyone has been running really, really well, really, really clean, really aware, most importantly. And, you know, we saw so many near misses, people starting to slide up on the track, and then the guys on the outside going, okay, yeah, you can have a little bit more room, but do catch it, please. The wall's coming up. Not everyone really, really working together here, while also obviously fighting, but working to stay alive.
Well, let's see what happens. Tim Perry has got that inside line here for the final run now. Make them tyres last, 52. You've got this. Well, it's going to be tough for him. I'm not going to lie. It is going to be tough for him to do that, I think, because this track does eat tyres quite quickly.
Yeah, 100%. And especially with these slight slides that we've seen a couple of times now in the middle to the later part of the stint, or even, well, in the earlier part of the stint where we saw Qatar just throwing it down the inside of RL. And I think that's really one of these things where the tires will have to be made to last somehow, while, you know, they're basically barely hanging on the rim pretty much.
Yep. Well, let's see what happens in this final run. It is stage 3. It's a straight sprint to the end. Can anybody, anyone, meet, take, overtake, get near, or even get close to Mr. Tim Perry, who has definitely been showing them the way here this evening? Let's see what happens. We're going to go into that go restart zone now. They are underway. You can go, 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 go. And again, Ludovico missed the start once more. Campbell now nestles in again, trying to stay. Perry started running that high line already. And man, he's opened up 3 attempts already and we haven't gone anywhere.
Absolutely incredible. I just don't know how he does it. It's almost like he has a sort of sixth sense for when the flag drops, and obviously on the inside line here, you're gonna have a bit of an advantage with the horseshoe, or well, the dogleg horseshoe, you know, all that stuff. But god damn, he just really has a rhythm that he's just following, and I think now Ludovico, luckily not having lost too much yet, as he did you see how he just cut across there to Campbell? I think there was a little bit of aggression there after Campbell just came in like, you know, hello, I'm here to stay now.
Yeah, well, I think Con Campbell and Ludovico need to really, they need to stay and work together. They cannot afford to be drifting away from Perry. They have to try and stay in there. You know, it's imperative that they do, really.
Imperative.
Imperative.
I'm I like like Tim Perry imperative.
Yeah, I get you.
But funny jokes.
Oh,
But actually, yeah, Ludovico made his move now.
Yeah,
and Campbell looks to be making one as well.
He's gone to the front. He's gone to the front. Did Perry do all tyres to try and hang on there, or did he just do the rights to try and get out in front in that pit lane? But Campbell now can put him under pressure. Steve Orrell is in there. McIntosh 1.6 seconds behind with Walls, Pearson, Seaborn, Paul LeMay and Danny Kazar. They have to try and stay, if they can, in that line. We know the line is important. We know that up here in the booth. Can these guys get their heads around the fact that we've still got nearly 54 laps of racing to stay in that line here again? Because otherwise they're going to lose time, Nick. It's, you know, very, very interesting, but they are going to lose time here if they don't stay in that line with each other.
Oh, 100%. But also, they'll have to just try and conserve tires as much as possible. And you can see right now, I think Perry just needs a little bit of time to actually find his groove, maybe into the newer tires, if what you're thinking is correct. And, Campbell is all over him. He's basically already set in that driving rhythm that he had already in the last couple of stages. So he's basically all over the rear bumper of Tim Perry.
Yeah. He just needs to make sure he can stay with him. This is going to be the run, these next 54. You do not want to go anywhere, because the 54 laps we have coming up are going to be some of the spiciest. It's going to be hotter than a vindaloo from a curry house, I can tell you that much. As Ludovico's trying to hang on, it's going to be the battle of the tyre wear. Who's going to make it last? Can McIntosh and Walt, you need to be in to get behind each other. The same with Pearson. Pearson's tucked at the back of Seaborn, and that's where you need to be, really, Nick, to make sure that you can start moving your way forward.
100%, but also Pearson did gain a little bit through that pit stop phase, and something, I don't know what happened to Danny Cassar, but he went right down. Like, he was around P5, 6, 7 in that fight earlier. Now he's in P9 and 3 seconds off, losing tons of time, and I just don't know where that went.
I'm not sure, to be honest, I'm not sure, because we don't get, if they hit a wall, we don't get a real notification. It's something generally that we've got to be on, so I can't see any physical damage on Danny Kazar's, on his, I would say car, it's not a car, it's a truck. It doesn't look damaged, whereas if you was to go back to Mr. Oh, that's a shocking picture. I don't need to see that suspension, so there we go, we'll have to come out of that one. But I think when you look at Paul LeMay's car, there's damage on that right hand side of his car, because he did absolutely thump the wall. But these 4, 5 now, Levi Walls is in the mix, so is he pulling McIntosh with him? But it could be an interesting 6-car fight here going into these final few laps.
100%, and we can see Con Campbell just looking down the inside. Oh, Jesus. He said in the interview he's having a better race here, but he also mentioned, oh, well, Tim's in another zip code today, we're going to be fighting for P2. Yes, indeed, he is fighting for P2, but against Tim. So, at least one of his ideas definitely came to fruition. And now look at him all over that, constantly looking slightly staggered to the inside, letting Tim Perry know that he's in fact there. Oh.
They've got to stay where they are. You cannot release the Altitude Esports man of Tim Perry, because if you release him, that saying of you may take an inch, he will take a mile. There will not be an inch. If you give him that little bit for free, he will just absolutely take it. McIntosh is now joined in. Can the likes of Seaborn and Pearson get involved and join on to the back? Can Kazar even start? Oh, saying that, Kazar's got a long way. You've got Paul LeMay, Carl Jacqueline completely lost the draft here. Jacqueline coming off a high after last time out. Perry's now making a move on the inside here. Ludovic's trying to run him around the outside. Yeah, he does make it. He can't be doing that for too long though, Nick, because I can tell you what, Ludovico's tyres are not going to last that long if he keeps doing that.
Yeah, 100%. I absolutely agree with you there. But I think for him, it's just important right now, while he has him behind him, Ludovico is not going to be wanting to give up track position there. Especially because he knows, if I back him off a little bit more, maybe Con or maybe Steve could come in there and take a little bit of that pressure off me, as we also have a run around the outside there. I think that's McIntosh. Or is it Walt? I didn't quite see with the number.
Yeah, it's Walls.
Oh, it's Walt around the outside.
Yeah, Walls and McIntosh. Yeah, Walls is running high. McIntosh is trying to come underneath him. Seaborn and Pearson are on their way. It's now down to 1.2. It's coming fast. Mark Chappell LeMay hit the wall and Kazar couldn't get out of the way. Oh, really? What lap was that? I missed that one. I didn't see that. But then again, it doesn't show up that there's a... That was an incident, unfortunately, but they are coming 1.1. Pearson and Seaborn, if they stay where they are, it's down to 9 tenths. This could be an 8-car fight here, Nick, for this win, really, over this next part.
Yeah, and let me put it like this: none of these guys will want to back off here. It's a very, very tight circuit. It's a very fast circuit. And if there is a gap, you have to go for it, obviously. And, it's really, really interesting to see these different approaches, because Ludovico is taking more of a straightforward run into turn 1. But then you see Perry going first to the outside, lifting a little bit, and then just starting to completely send it inside. And like this again, but now for position.
Oh, Con, you're losing time. You can't afford to be sliding out there, buddy. Get that brake rotated in that machine. Get it, start applying it. Bring the front end now. Bring it down. There you go. Hold it. Apply the throttle. Start letting it drift out. Stay off the wall. Tuck it behind Ludovico. There we go. I sound like I almost know what I'm talking about back here, don't I, Nick?
It's starting to sound like a spotter there.
I know. Starting to sound like I knew what I was on about. God, dearie me, who'd have thought I'd broadcasted loads of NASCAR and run the Coke 600 this weekend? Who knew? Well, there we go. Ludovico Perry side by side. Con Campbell tucking in. These guys are now starting to get a little bit fractured behind. They need to just really stay as they were. Seaborn and Pearson just about hanging on here. Walls and McIntosh, Perry and Ludovico. Campbell's in there. He's trying to hang on to the back of Perry. We got 8 till we hit the 100. Then we've got 34 after that. That gives us a total of 42 laps to go. Tim Perry's on the inside. Ludovico now cannot afford to let him go. Ludovico runs it in very, very hard. Round the exit 2. He's trying to hang on to the outside line. If they get away without contact here, Nick, they would have done absolutely stellar, because I can tell you what, neither of these guys are backing down.
Oh, absolutely not. And oh my god, you can almost feel the tires screeching there on the outside of Ludovico's car, and he's definitely somehow making it stay alongside. I have absolutely no idea how, and still, oh actually, now I think, did he just run? No, there we are. We were on board with the wrong car then, I thought. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Tim Perry, sorry.
But...
Oh, Tim! Tim! Give me room, give me room, give me room! I'm not even in the car, but give me room anyway, Tim! Oh, there we go. Ludovico's got to try and come back now. He's got to try and go.
You have the right to one car width. You will get one car width, but nothing more.
Yeah, I'm not giving you any more space than that. I wouldn't either, to be honest. He's got to try now and stay with Perry. If this is it, if this is the moment, if this is Tim Perry's moment, and he's now going to go and done that, we are going to be in trouble. Con's still in there. McIntosh, Walls. Stevie Orwell is alongside McIntosh. There he is at the moment. Jamie McIntosh. Oh, Orwell goes and sends it through, but can Con Campbell stay with these two leaders? Well, we know there's going to be a green flag pit stop. They're not, these tyres won't last. I know, Brent. They are going to have to stop, or they're going to be running on bare rubber by the end of this race.
I'm just wondering, because I think Perry almost stayed behind them for a while on purpose, just to make sure, maybe to save a little bit of fuel, perhaps. But at this point, with how close these guys are running, I can't imagine that you would have saved a lot of fuel, even when running behind someone else, you know? Like, the pace that they're going at the moment is just so blisteringly fast. I think it's all going to come down to who hits his marks the most perfect way on that pit stop.
Yeah, I agree. 29 degrees track temperature, 21 out air. May is saying 10 to 6 in the evening, so it is starting to cool down a little bit. Stevie Oral, Seaborn just swap places there. Oral in that 68, Seaborn in the 78. Great job from these guys. You are right about fuel, mind you. There is bare minimum, and I was even literally clutching in to let the car run around the corner, and you are right, it's bare minimum amount of fuel they save. They might get maybe a lap if they're lucky, but it's not going to be a massive difference. And well, for these guys now, for Ludovic, for Campbell, they cannot afford to let Perry get away. Don't fight whatever Tim's doing. Try and copy here, Nick, because clearly Tim's on the pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim's just been almost in complete control the entire time, I'd say. Basically just knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, and it's just been an absolutely astonishing drive by him. Now I'm just thinking at the moment, you know, what the other guys can maybe do against him, you know, how they can maybe counter this. How can you counter raw pace on this kind of oval? And there might be a way coming up, because we have a couple of the back markers running up.
Yeah, we've got 11th place man Carl Jacklett and 10th place Paul LeMay. But you are right, it's what can you do against Tim Perry? It's you've just got to make sure you're in that area, aren't you? And for Ludovico and Campbell, they've got to make sure they're trying to stay as best they can. So see what happens here as we're going into the last 34. Tyre stops have got to happen. They've been on these tyres since about lap 71 when they would have stopped. They're 30 lap olds. They're going to be down to about 89% dropping quite rapidly here, so we're going to have to keep an eye and see who blinks first. But somebody's going to have to blink, Nick, because they're not going to get to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, honestly, at this point, it might also be a bit better, you know, to try and offset your pit stop a little bit, just so you can 100% focus on hitting your marks perfectly. And, you know, obviously, I think people will basically just try to stop as early as possible to completely fill their car so that they can make the remaining distance. So I think in the next couple of laps, we could be expecting some green flag stops. But obviously, there's always, while we have this battle here with Pearson versus Seaborn on, there is always this inch of a chance of a pit stop, of course, you know, of a pit stop through caution here. Yeah,
looks like Oral's got in. Oral's taking the plunge. Paul LeMay's taking the plunge as well. Perry's gaps out in front is now 8 tenths over Ludovico, with Campbell in behind them. Levi Walls behind that. McIntosh and Seaborn. It's going to be that green flag stop. The question is when and how and when are they going to dive in? We definitely believe they have to. That's the thing, isn't it? But it's how saving Tim Perry's managed to do here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there, and it's really just the question now, you know, maybe people will try to go for an earlier pit stop, you know, trying to maybe profit from, maybe it's a shred of lap time that he just lost behind the number 3 car here, but I would really doubt it still. But, you know, people will try to offset their pit stops a little bit now, try to look for an alternative pit strategy. And you can see that there's another one already coming into the pits. I think that was
Carl Jacklett.
Yeah, Jacklett there.
Yeah, Jacklett's come down pit road. No, Kazar has not yet. McIntosh, and Seaborn also have not. The gap out front is now a second. Ludovico 8 tenths just about. Con Campbell second back from that. McIntosh and Seaborn. Seaborn, stay off that That apron is not going to do you any favors. You can see how high they're having to go now. The difference between starting off with new tires, you're doing 168, 172 into the corners. Now, as you start coming through the percentages, you'll start going down to 165. You can see now with 155 territory. So I can safely say them tires are probably down to about 85 to 80% on where they were, and they're just going to get worse and worse and worse, and that time loss is just going to get more and more. Perry's come in, the leaders blinked, Campbell's in as well, race off pit lane. Who's going to get this one? Tim Perry, Con Campbell, Pearson's come in, and we know Pearson is Tim Perry's little follower, as he's already said. Whatever Tim does, I'm going to do. So Stuart Pearson, as he's still learning his way in the truck. So yeah, Pearson's in, Campbell's in, but is it going to be 2? Is it going to be 4? The left side's up for Tim Perry. What about the rights? Is he going to right side it? Yes. All 4 for Tim Perry, all 4 for Campbell. Campbell, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. Get out, because Ludovico's on his way in. Walls is on his way in. Kazar's on his way in. This is where it all matters now, isn't it, Nick? These pit stops, you've got to nail it. Absolutely.
Oh, it's gonna be rough. And yeah, you can see Danny Kazar actually still having to wait for a little while longer. Of course, you lose quite a lot of time around here, because the lap is quite a lot shorter as well than Daytona. You know, in Daytona, you maybe lost a lap. Here, you lose maybe up to 2 laps if you're unlucky.
Yeah.
And now Ludovico's still in the pit lane, I think. And actually, where has he gone out? Where has he gotten out?
Oh, there's Tim Perry. There's Ludovico. Perry has got through. He jumped Ludovico. Oh, where did Campbell go? What happened to Campbell's exit?
He must have hit his marks wrong or something, but he is actually carrying a little bit more speed now compared to Ludovico. Ludovico obviously still has to accelerate back out. But on the apron here, you have to be so careful, because you know the nice part of the banking is it gives you more grip. On the banking, you can almost see the rear a little bit sliding away there.
He's definitely apprehensive.
I think he was just being cautious there, which, don't get me wrong, not the wrong call, absolutely not. But you know, obviously, it's going to cost a little bit of time here, and in this case, quite a lot of time.
Yeah, McIntosh is coming off the line. He's now going in. Tim Perry's setting after Seaborn, who's still, he pitted on lap 72. We're in the final 24. Perry out in front. Marcus Ludovico behind. Stevie Orrell behind that. Con Campbell in 4th. This is it now, the straight run to 24. Michael LeMay update. Cramp in his right foot. He could not get rid of the cramp in his right foot, so he called it a day. McIntosh is still in the pits. And Pat Seaborn still running around. 32.2 last time out for Pat. He's going one more. Tim Perry, what are you going to be able to do? Well, at the moment, Perry is there, still behind Seaborn. Seaborn's almost lapping Tim Perry. Last time out, 31.9 for Seaborn, 30.4. So 1.5 for Tim Perry faster here, Nick. Surely Pat's got to go in.
I'm actually wondering, I saw a couple of guys going in way earlier than everyone else, but I think that Pat Seaborn wasn't among them, but I'm not 100% sure. But just in the pure hypothetical sense here, if Seaborn had gone in, you know, way earlier already, and basically now managed to get a lap ahead of everyone else, that would be almost an Alexander Rossi Indy 500 win kind of situation.
Well, he is. Literally everybody he's got behind him, he is a lap in front. He's a lap in front of Ludovico, lap in front of Campbell, lap in front of Orrell, Pearson, Wells, Kazar. If Seaborn can run this to the end, he's only got 22 laps and he's still going, but he is in the 31.8s. Ludovico behind him is in the 30.3s, 31.9 now. So he's losing about 1.6 seconds per lap. The question is that 1.6 enough to keep ahead of Tim Perry for this whole entire race? There are their last lap times. You can see 31.9, 30.3. Oh, if he's going for it, Mr. Seaborn, he's going to be pulling it out of the bag somewhere.
That's going to be a really, really crazy attempt, honestly. I think if he actually manages to pull that off, then huge respects to him, first of all. And that is the question now. It's only 20 laps to go.
Yeah.
You know, if he can keep that up, actually, you know, if he keeps the pace disparagement, you know, low enough. And right now it's still 24.3 seconds, 24.2. The pace is dropping massively, obviously, same as the gap. But if he can somehow make that last, that would be absolutely sensational.
Yeah, as I do some quick maths here, it's going to take Perry 15 laps if it stays at 1.6.
Oh.
It's going to take Perry 15 laps. There's still 1.6. Oh, Pat Seaborn, you brave boy from Burnham-on-Sea in the west coast of the UK. He has looked, he's gone for it. What is he going to do this time around? It's going to be in the 32s. Surely it's got to be within the 32s here for Seaborn. He will only get slower. He probably not have fuel to do it. Well, he's running on 100% fuel. We can get about probably 73 laps, maybe 74 if he can. He might have to nip and do a quick splash and dash, but we'll see here from Tim Perry and from Pat Seaborn. So let's keep an eye out and see what goes on and seeing how we get on with 17 to go.
Oh my goodness me. This is not what I had on my bingo cards, but I do love an underdog story. And, you know, Seaborn in 12th place in comparison to Tim Perry in 3rd place in the standings so far. Obviously a very, very fantastic story. And this strategies like this that just knock it out of the window completely. I absolutely adore it.
Well, I can tell you now, Seaborn did the same. Oh, he's got quicker. 31.88. What is the gap? He's out at 18 seconds.
Oh, this is getting close. This will be close.
11 and maybe not. 18 divided by, what did he get on that last lap gain? 1.2. Still 15 laps. Oh. Well, hold on to your hats. 72 mark. 72, 28, 28, 38, 48, 58 laps.
Well, what he has to aim for is basically below 1.2 seconds slower than Perry at the moment.
Yeah.
We basically try and keep that gap as alive as possible, and then we basically come down to a photo finish.
Yeah, we definitely will. But he's in. Oh, Pat, you made it so exciting for at least 5 laps. I was even doing maths, Pat. Maths. Oh, well, that cancels that one out. So, hey, well, oh dear, well, that's it. Battles on for second place between Ludovico Campbell and Levi Walls in there. Stu Pearson's picking up a 5th by the looks fit. Stevie Orrell and Danny Kazar still running side by side. That's it. I got so excited then as well. Oh, never mind.
I mean, Kazar actually did a bit of a recovery drive now, back from around 10th to 6th. So he's basically been found well, and that was so close to contact there. Stephen Orrell goes for the over and under at the exit of turn 4. Yeah. Absolutely great driving there, really well aware of the measurements of his car.
I would say that's probably more by the skin of his teeth than anything else there, because it was very, very close for Stevie Orrell and Danny Kazar, Ludovico Campbell, Levi Walls. This is the 3rd place gap at the moment. Last time's out, 31.0, 30.9, 30.9. So it's going to be very close. He was waiting for a caution, I bet. Yeah, I reckon as well. It's very tough. They've gone green all the way through, Mark, and without the stage brakes, that's the only time they've stopped. Yeah, very, very tough. But such a shame. It got so excited there for a minute, didn't it? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It was crazy. Imagine a caution actually had happened and he would have gotten that free pit stop there.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine Pat Seaborn grabbing a caution? The only way, though, the only thing he probably on that one he would have done is probably caused it himself or something. That would have been the only way he would have got away with that. Because I don't think anybody else is doing it. Close one. Yeah, these guys are battling out. Levi Walls, Con Campbell and Ludovico. As we jump in with Levi Walls. So you see Con Campbell in front of Ludovico. Tim Perry's off up the road. He's gone. So, yeah. Let's see what happens here. 10 to go, Nick. I think it's been still quite interesting race with the way that they've been handling this and the way that obviously the pit stop cycles that we knew had to come under green flags. We knew it was already on its way, and these guys have done a stellar job with it.
100%. So these guys had fantastic awareness, you know. And, well, honestly, despite all that, you know, despite obviously having to be a bit more careful because you can lose out time quite quickly here. If there's no caution, then you really want to just run a completely fault-free race. Despite that, I think we've been treated to a very, very interesting race so far. Plenty of position battles, you know, plenty of 2-3 wide moments that we even had. And a fantastic showcase of car control from all drivers involved here.
Yeah, they've done an absolutely stellar job. We've got 9 to go. Tim Perry's out in front, bar any major issues. It looks like he will take the Triple Crown. The only one he didn't get was pole position. He has got stage 1, Tim Perry. Stage 2, Tim Perry. Race 1, race win, looks like Tim Perry. So great job by Tim this evening. He's got the whole Triple Crown wrapped up. Has he got the fastest lap? Well, it's a 30.07. No, he hasn't. I can tell you who has, mind you. And that's this man, Mr. Levi Wolves, in a 69 machine. Fastest lap of the race on a 29.77. So, great lap from Levi there to stop Tim getting that one as well. Come on, 52 sticky tyres, says Brent in YouTube chat as well. Hey.
Oh, it's always great. I absolutely love it when we have fans of the drivers in the chat.
Well, when you're supporting, you've got to do what you got to do here, and that's the thing, isn't it? When you support people, you cheer them on. It's ah!
Oh, okay. A bit of a sniff there.
Excuse me, Levi Walls. It was almost like taking my dash hound for a walk there and meeting another dog. Let's just put it that way. He was that close. 5 to go, Nick. Oh, dear me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think Con Campbell is now just trying to bide his time, trying to stay close to Ludovico, trying to save his tires for a little bit of a final attack here in the last couple of laps. And, well, Levi Waltz, obviously, you know, seeing, oh, yeah, he's holding back a little bit. You know, maybe I'll just go for it. Let's see.
Run it in deep, literally. he definitely
That's not quite the traditional meaning of the phrase, but yeah.
Well, all right. Let's put it in puppy terminology. He was having a sniff, shall we say, for Levi Walls there as well. Go J-Mac, says Mark, who's cheering on Jamie McIntosh, sitting in 6th place at the moment. Mark done really well this evening. Him and Danny Kazar together in that 23 and the 21 machine, respectively. Danny getting all the way down in 10th and start moving his way back forward. But it is all about the 3 to go at the Charlotte Cha-Cha here with Tim Perry 6 seconds out in front. He is absolutely dominated this evening's racing. Absolutely stellar job there. 69 has been fast all race. That's Levi there as well. Boring race from Perry. Stitch, you said that early on as well. You did say that earlier. But it's been an exciting one for us.
I mean, the thing is, you know, even if it's not maybe as much wheel-to-wheel racing as we'd like to see, you know, it's always a nice thing when you're just leading away from everyone else and, you know, having a nice time by yourself. And in this case, you know, he's run the entire race basically error-free.
Yep.
Running side by side with others for multiple laps. I mean, him against Ludovico earlier in the final stage here, absolutely phenomenal. You know, there was barely any space between those two cars, and he just completely nailed the pit stop. So I think you can't really say anything against that as we now get the white flag.
Yeah, final lap of the race. More dominant than Verstappen today. Verstappen come out and said he was bored. So, yeah. What more can you ask for as a racing driver comes out and does that? But it is going to be Tim Perry in that 83 machine. I'm keeping an eye on the battle behind with Ludovico and Campbell. I just want to see Perry over the line. He's going to win here. He takes that checkered flag at Charlotte. Tim Perry wraps up the victory. It is going to be Ludovico. He can hold on. Con Campbell did not get close. He did finish in third though. So great job from Con with Levi Walls behind that. What's going on with Jamie McIntosh and Stu Pearson? Did Pearson just clear? Oh, there was a little bit of a run going on down here. That was Stevie Orrell. As Kazar went past Stevie Orrell. And then McIntosh passed Danny Kazar as well on lap 129. Pat Seaborn clearing Stevie Orrell on 131. And did Pearson manage to hold on? He did. He managed to hold on to his 5th place. But it is Tim Perry with a celebratory donuts here this evening. Takes that victory, and nobody really can begrudge this man. He has been fast all evening. Let's bring you up the results here. Tim Perry is your winner with Marcus Ludovico in 2nd, Con Campbell 3rd, Levi Walls 4th, then Pearson, McIntosh, Kazar, Seaborn, Orrell, LeMay, Carl Jacqueline and Michael LeMay there. So a great job from everybody as the results will come through at the base of your screen. Stellar job there as well. Great third. Can you make sure to save the replay and send it to me, please? We'll get some screenshots tomorrow. Yes, because I'm nice. Okay. Mr. Stitchbury there as well on the request. We'll give the drivers a couple of minutes here. Nice race, 33. Yep, Marcus Ludovico done an absolute stellar job. So yeah. Awesome job there as well. But let's have a chat with your white flag man as well. He looked like he was under pressure for a little bit of the race and then just comes along, says thank you very much, I'll take the lead, and off I go by 6 seconds. Tim Perry. Tim, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Yep, good. A bit hot and sweaty after that one. Not much rest going on. It was very long green flag runs.
Yeah, it was, which is great. You know, we only had the stage breaks as yellows there, bud. Listen, what did you use special match tyres this evening? Did your crew chief specially match them together for you?
No, I normally I'm terrible with tyres, but recently I've been just trying really hard and trying not to push them too much at the start, and it seemed to pay off. Obviously, on that second restart, obviously for the last stage, Marcus really went for it, and I just thought, well, you know what, I'm actually going to let him go and try and save the tyres. Whereas I think in the past I would have bowed him really hard and probably worn them right through to the, right through to the carcass. But I was sensible this time, and it actually paid off.
It did. You were dominant, man. Stage 1, stage 2, and the race win. You missed out on the final lap, on the fastest lap, though, mind you.
Terrible. Must do better.
Yeah, but Tim, look,
race ruined.
Yeah, it's all done and dusted for you now, Tim. Who knows that? You know, next time out we're off at Thompson Speedway. How do you feel going into that one?
It's going to be very difficult. I did a few test laps there just to check the track was all right and setups and stuff, and yeah, it didn't go very well. So definitely a lot of practice needed, I think, before that one.
Ooh, well, stay tuned. We'll see Tim Perry practicing. Tim, anyone you want to give a shout out to there, buddy? Absolutely stellar race from you.
Yeah, obviously all the Altitude guys, all our sponsors, all that sort of stuff, and obviously to you guys for the fantastic commentary that you do.
I love Tim Perry's sponsor list. To all the guys that sponsor us and all that stuff. Tim, you're supposed to name them. Come on.
Yeah. I've been trouble with Mark Fletcher later. So Sim Stickers, 3M, Mr. Hedge, Finding Speed, and Grumpy Dad Sim Designs. There you go.
There you go. Good job, Tim. Catch you soon, buddy.
See you, mate.
See you later. Right, next up, we're going to have a chat with a man that finished in 6th place, up 4 from where he qualified. Mr. Jamie McIntosh had a clean race this evening as well. Jamie, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. I am very, very well. It's been a very clean, interesting, exciting race, hasn't it?
It's been a pleasure, is what it's been, James. It's been an absolute pleasure. There were a few quarbles last time out, and you know what? It is what it is. That's gone. And thanks for everybody who's sort of hung on and done what they've done. And here we are today with no yellow flags apart from stage breaks. So, you know, if that doesn't say it all, then nothing does.
No. And it just goes to show that we can have the great racing even though there was only 12 of you. Because to be honest, I've loved every minute of this.
Yeah, I was nervous about 12. You know, I sort of looked at it and went, 12. Oh, is this what's going to come? And actually, 12 was probably the perfect number around there. You know, you look at the calibre of driving, you look at the closeness of the driving, and again, no incidents. You know, it's incredible. You know, a few different tactics out there. I know Danny Castle, my teammate in 21, he tried something different in stage 1, then went on to stage 2 and did something completely different, and it worked better. And stage 3, he just dropped off at the last bit, and I managed to take him, which, you know, is a great little victory. We had some great support from Mark Werrell and Mark Chappell in the chat, and it was just, phenomenal race. You know, I was a bit nervous about Charlotte because anything can happen there, but wow, yeah, really, really thoroughly enjoyed it tonight.
Well, you're going on to Thompson next time out, mate. I don't know how much you know or what you've done there before.
I kind of vowed never to go back then, certainly not in a truck. But hey, yeah, I think it's a cracking little track, and I think it's a great curveball. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, well, really looking for, if you want a curveball, you go to Bristol Dirt a little bit later on in the season as well, Jamie. So you know
that's just going to be absolute brilliant.
Oh, man.
Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I've done that in Cup Cars. It's going to be amazing. But thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Listen, Danny Cass in 21, Mark Chappell, Mark Werrell, and you boys for doing what you do. So, yeah, thanks to everybody.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, Jamie, thanks so much there, buddy. Look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Likewise. Take care, boys.
Well, there you go, Nick. I think it's been a successful evening. We've had some great battling, we've had some side-by-sides, we've had a little bit of everything, but what we haven't had is incidents. You know, these guys have gone bar stage breaks, green flag all the way.
Honestly, at Charlotte, I would have expected incidents more than at Daytona. I'm going to be completely brutally honest, because speed-wise, obviously, this isn't 100% flat out, but you know, at Daytona, you still have a bit more of a way to fight with a slightly higher average top speed. And here, it's, you know, more like a cage fight with a tiger, pretty much. And, you know, these guys handled it absolutely professionally, perfectly, with basically no issues. And, you know, I was really, really impressed. So, you know, once again, well done to all the drivers. Huge congrats, of course, to our top 3 finishers. And I honestly can't wait for the next race at Thompson, which is going to be a complete curveball, as said before. Very, very short oval. Then next up, going to Las Vegas. Completely the opposite again. And then Bristol in dirt. And then Indy. So I love how we're basically just fluctuating between, oh yeah, short, careful, careful, careful. And then, oh yeah, by the way, flat out the entire lap.
Listen, you don't want to make it easy for them. You know what I mean?
You don't want to give them a rhythm. You gotta have to keep surprising them so it doesn't get boring for them.
Exactly. You want to make sure that they're on their A game. You know, we've got to test these Europeans in these NASCAR trucks and that as well. But there you go, guys. It's been a great evening of racing. I think you can admit. DES Racing, thank you so much. Brent Thompson, you guys are great. Nice broadcast. Awesome stuff. Thank you very much for that one. It's been a very, very interesting night, and I can safely say they've gone green flag bar stages from lap 1 to lap 134. So, you know, if you want to get yourselves involved, you can head over to jpbroadcasting.com/league racing and click on the NASCAR trucks and get yourself registered, as Ludovic did this week. So I have to see the Thompson's race. That will be good. I do agree. Brent Thompson. Get it? Thompson, never mind. I'll shut up as we're going to be moving on. And shush, Nick, shush. Right, we go, guys, as well. That's going to wrap it up up here in the JPB booth. I've been James Parfitt alongside Nicholas Hillebrand. Join us a little bit later on for the BSC as we take to the Cup cars here again on the JPB YouTube channel. And you can come along and join us as the BSC boys will go and tackle Auto Club Speedway. And I absolutely despise that circuit as I'm driving, but it's great fun to commentate on. But for now, guys, as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.